I'm your host, Eric Black, for the JCAL Education at Home series. Anyone can, and I'm here to show you that anyone can be a graffiti artist. It doesn't matter your skill level. This is something that we do to express ourselves. We always write a signature. We're always writing something or jotting something down. So this is a way that you can get creative with your letters and your text. I've been drawing all my life. I have a Bachelor's of Fine Arts with a concentration in printmaking. I've done special effects work for McDonald's, Burger King, Bally's Total Fitness. I'm a full-time artist. The latest thing I've worked on is a mural at Daniel O'Connell Park in Queens. If you're in the area, you should go check it out. It's called Queens Reflections. And this is episode 1. Okay, let's start. We're going to begin. I'm going to sharpen up my little pencil. I have my marker. You can use anything. You can use a crayon, a pencil, a marker, whatever you have available. You can even use a ballpoint pen. All right, let's begin. All right, we're going to start off. And this is going to be like the skeleton for what we're going to do next. So right now, I'm going to start off. I'm going to do my name. And I'm just going to write Eric. And what we're going to do is, you're just going to write this lightly with the pencil. And this is going to be the outline. And this is the simplest way to do it. Alright, so I'm just doing it twice because I'm going to give you a few tips to help you if you're a little nervous or you don't want to jump right in. Okay, so we have Eric. So what we're going to do first, we're going to do bubble letters. And these are the classic bubble letters. Some of you guys did this when you were in school. You'd make the cool little bubble letters around your name or whatever you was writing. So right now, basically, you're just adding cushion to the skeleton. So what you're going to do is you're just going to go around. You're going to use the letters, the basic pencil letters, as like a guide, and you're going to go around and add a little bit of cushion to it. And don't worry if you make a mistake. We're just getting warmed up right now. Okay, so we did one and we did simple bubble letters just to get warmed up here. So right now I'm just going to give you a few little tips. Just in case you're having a problem with the curves, you can actually draw little circles around each point where it ends. And this will help you if you're having a problem with the curves. So right now we're just putting these little circles around the curves. Okay, and on the points. And that'll help you with your curves for your little bubble letters. I love the sound of that marker hitting the paper. Okay. Okay, so right now you have some basic bubble letters. Really simple. It looks like candy. And now we're going to just spice this up a little bit. So I'm going to do my name again. Okay. And this time, I'm going to add even more cushion. Okay, there we go. So right now, you're going to see the difference. I added a little bit more weight. You can really see on the bottom one. And it's getting a little funky. So I started with the bubble letters because bubble letters are to me, they're the easiest to do. And then next, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to do block letters now. And it's going to use the same principle that we used. Okay. So we're going to have. So this time, it's going to be a little bit different. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add little rectangles. Alright, so these are going to be block letters. So I'm going to do the same thing, but now it's going to be rectangles. So I'm just going around my skeleton, and then I'm adding simple rectangles to my shape. Now there are going to be some curves, like on the R and like B's and D's. But basically, you're just making rectangles and very simple shapes. Okay, and once we do that, you get your little marker, have a little fun, and let's see what we have here. Okay. Okay, so now we're getting it. So we just went from, we did some bubble letters. We did some little bubble letters over here. And then we started doing our block letters. Now we're going to get a little bit more creative. What we're going to do is we're going to add some embellishments on the edges to these block letters. So right now we're going to do the same thing with the rectangles. All right, we're going to do the rectangles. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Right now, like I said, we're just getting warmed up. Outline this thing, and we're going to do it. All right, here we go. So we're going to outline this thing. Okay, boom, boom. Okay, so now you're seeing the evolution. So we just went from our little bubble letters, we did our block letters, and then we got a little bit more creative with our block letters and added some embellishments just to make it pop a little bit. So now, we're not done yet. We're going to do, once again, I'm going to do Eric, and you can follow along. So right now, we're going to do Eric one more time, or whichever name you're using, and we're going to decorate this with different shapes. And then here's where the fun part comes in. So you're basically going to take simple shapes, use your skeleton, and add to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get really creative. I'm going to add different shapes. So I'm starting with a triangle, a few triangles here and there. I'm going to do the rectangle. Okay. On the C, I'm going to do the bubble letters. Okay. A little square on the side. And I hope you're getting some great ideas for this. Okay. So now it's starting to unfold. So now, let's go. All right, there we go. So now you're seeing we did our little bubble letters, we did our block letters, and then we added basic shapes to make this thing unique. And now we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. So now what we're gonna do is now that you have the basic idea and the basic concept, here's where it gets really creative. You're gonna put your letters into shapes. So I'm gonna give you an example and show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to draw a circle over here. I'm going to draw a deformed rectangle. All right. And then I'm going to draw something that has a little bit of perspective in it. Almost like a block. Okay. And then we're going to put my name in again. So we're going to have Eric. We're using those shapes as a guide. Okay. All right. And at this point, some of you guys, you might not need to pencil it. Some of you guys are going to jump right in with the marker and just go crazy. All right. Alright, so we filled in our basic shapes. Okay, and now I'm going to just do what I do. I'm going to go and do my little outlines so you can see in detail what it looks like. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do everything that we did previously, we're going to put into one. So right now I'm going to get really creative. I'm going to get really creative with the shape that I put my name into. So this almost looks like a little flag. And matter of fact, okay, hold on a minute. Yeah, this looks like a little flag. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to write my name. And there we have it. There we have it. And we're starting to get places. So right now I'm going to show you a few extra things that'll bring your graffiti art to life. Right now we're going to go into shadows because this is going to bring your art to the next level. It's going to add something to it, another dimension. So right now I'm just doing some letters to show you an example of some shadows and some things I like to do with some of my art. I'll explain right now. So first we have to decide what direction is the shadow coming from. You can see I have lights on my face right now and you can see a little bit about shadow. So let's say that the light is coming from the right side. Alright, where would what would happen? Alright, so remember, the shadow is just, the drop shadow is just the exact same shape or a similar shape, moved over a little bit. So we're just going to take that. So what if the shadow was coming from the bottom? We do the same thing. So that would be the light source, and it's casting a shadow. So pretty straightforward, fun stuff. Now, there's a few extra things that you can do to make your shadows look really cool. So let me just give you an example of some things that you can do with shadows. So right now, I'm going to do a very close shadow. So when I do this shadow this close, that means that the object is closer to the wall or background in that drawing. So the further the shadow is, that means that the further the object that I'm drawing is on the background that I'm drawing, if that makes any sense. So let's say that I'm going to give an example. Okay, I'm going to draw this E shadow. And as you can see, the shadow is floating. I mean, the E is actually floating off the page. So that E would be further from the background that we're drawing. If that makes any sense. I hope I'm not confusing you. So you basically you get the idea. All right. The closer the background, the closer the shadow, the closer it is to the background you're drawing. Yep. And the further the shadow, the further the object is from the background that you're drawing. Okay, so now that we went through shadows, and I hope I didn't confuse you guys, we're going to just go through making text 3D. And that's pretty simple too. You just draw diagonal lines at some of the points. And then the final thing I want to do is I want to show you some drips. And that just involves doing a few little circles. They're like little S's. And we have our little drips. And that's something that you can do that's really cool. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a drop shadow to the E. I'm going to draw 3D text to the R, a 3D I, and a drip for my C. Okay, so now let's color that in and see what it looks like. And I'm going to have a little bit of fun here, just to add a little bit more volume. And this is always fun to do. You know, a few little stripes here and there. Okay, so that was pretty cool. Another thing that sometimes I like to do is I like to make the outlines a little bit bolder. So we can bold our outlines a little bit, you know, just around the borders, the edges. And that'll just, you know, make it pop a little bit more. And we got a little bit crazy here, but it's all fun. We did it to just make it unique. Alright, so now we have, you know, our image. It's looking good. I'm going to add a little bit, yeah, make that E pop, you know. Alright, here we go. So we're starting to get somewhere here. So now there's a few extra things. I'll give you a few things that I like to do to add a little bit more volume to it. You know, I put a few highlights on it. You know, just gives it a little bit of more volume. And these are just quick little lines, a few little curves. Sometimes I'll put a little dot. And there you have it. Another thing that we can do that's pretty cool is we can do a little border around everything. Just go around. Okay, and there you have it. It's starting to come around. And it's starting to turn into something really cool. And like I said, experiment, have fun. You can literally double this if you wanted to. You could double this and add two borders around it. So this is the end of lesson number 1. I hope you had fun watching. Whatever you create, be sure to send me a link if you post it on Instagram. And in the next class, we are going to be doing characters. So, with that being said, alright guys, and there you have it.